Hey guys, welcome back to Liberty and Racing for All. This is In the Pits, episode 2, how to care for your kart. For In the Pits, I've kind of generalized these towards newer racers like me. This is my rookie year, and if you're a rookie also, these videos might be helpful as I'm covering the things that I've learned and the things that I'm learning. So if you are a new driver, new racer, new to racing in general, these might be helpful for you. We can kind of learn together. As you can probably guess, there are many parts to a kart, from the drive chain to the braking systems to the steering to the engine. All of them are held together by the nuts and bolts that hold lots of things together. They're just general multi-purpose bolts. For some rule requirements, you might need to have special nuts or safety wires around the nuts, but you don't really have to worry about that as far as this goes. But taking care of your kart, you're going to want to make sure that everything is very clean. If you have any sort of dirt or grime build up for too long, that can really start to hinder your kart's performance. So what my dad lets me use is his snap-on parts washer. It's just looks like this. It sprays degreaser around it, and then you can use that brush to clean stuff off. If you don't have a parts washer, you can also use degreaser. This is for bicycles, drivetrain cleaner, but since it's a chain as well, it'll also work very similarly. Another thing that you really want to make sure you do is make sure that everything is tight. If you saw In the Pits episode 1, I did not make sure the grub screws on the axle were tight because I was like, why would the axle come loose? It should be solid. But I didn't. The grub screws came out and it shattered a brake rotor. So that was a lot of money. So what I do is I start at the back of the kart near the engine and the brake area, and I work my way forward. I usually start with the Allens at the smallest size, go up to the biggest Allen that I need, and then I go to the wrenches. Start with the smallest wrench that I need and work my way up from there. Let's take a look. So for your grub screws, right in here, that's this little screw right here. That's gonna be a 4mm Allen, and there are 3 of those per side. So 3 there, and 3 there. Also, 4mm Allens are used for the chain guard that holds the sprocket in as well. So that's a 4mm Allen and 10mm nuts. The next 4mm that's on our list is around the front of the kart, and it's this steering bolt right there. I have had that come loose and fall out, and I didn't have any steering. Next up, 5mm. That's gonna be what holds your axle in to the chassis. So that bolt right there, right here, those two. That one right there, that's a 5mm. 5mm there, 5mm up here, and then all the steering is 5mm. These bigger Allens are bigger than the sizes I have, but if you do have an Allen that big, you would definitely want to check those. This is for the footrest up here, so you're not like way extending your heel to get to the pedal, or you're not really having to reach the pedal either. You're gonna check all the steering on that side also. These brake calipers are 5mm as well as all the seat bolts and stuff like that. 6mm are easy. It's mainly just the wheel hubs right there and right there. And I actually believe that's it for 6mm. 1/4" Allen, that's the big boy right here. That's gonna go way up under here, and it's gonna be used for the motor mount positioning things. So make sure those are tight. You don't want your motor sliding around and stuff like that. And they actually make these helpful little bump stops. So that'll keep your engine from slacking off your chain and stuff like that. Now we have the 10mm wrench. So those two right there, I've had those come loose before. The drain plug, oh my goodness. It's not a hexagon, but it fits right there perfectly with a 10mm wrench. I have had the drain plug come loose. That was almost very bad. And there's another drain plug right there. Your exhaust clamps there and up here on the top of the engine. And that is it for 10mm. 14mm wrench. Let's see if we can get this up here. So those 2 bolts there and over there. Those are both 14mm. They are really hard to get to, so you might want to try a couple different techniques. I think I've tried a couple and I really haven't found out which one works better than the other yet. As far as checking tightness of parts and keeping everything clean, that's about it. But one more thing, you want to have a nice spare parts pile because you're always going to be running into stuff that you might need. So just little nuts and bolts, washers, odds and ends, stuff like that. Chain brake tool would be helpful. Depending on what size chain you have, those will differ. They do make a big difference based on size. One will fit your chain and one will not even come close to fitting your chain. Also, make sure you have a solid store of cash because as you can see over here on the ground, that is my old cart. That is now damaged to the point where I now need a new one, and that is what I have here. That's why I've done this video, to try and transfer over everything that I had on the old cart to the new cart and make sure that we're ready to go for the next race. So what I've heard a lot is that when people get into racing, they think the cart and that's it. But it's really a lot more than that. You need safety equipment, and that is one of the things that you really want to go, if not top dollar, then definitely up on the market. You don't want to go buy some cheap helmet or anything like that. You definitely want to make sure you're keeping yourself safe and staying within the certain protocols that are there. You have to get your safety gear. You have to save up for extra parts or an entire another cart like I had to do. And you're always going to be needing odds and ends. We just had to get a new set of tires. Fuel for carts is, for the LO206, they run ethanol-free fuel. You can find that at Buc-ee's. But for the upper classes, the 2-stroke classes, they run the big VP Racing Fuel brand of fuel. And those are really expensive. So make sure you have enough money to not only pay for the cart, but everything that goes with it. All right, guys, I think that's about it. This was episode 2 of In the Pits. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed and also click the like button if this was helpful for you. I'm Jackson Merriman, and I'll see you later.